Hi there, it's Carol Doherty. Welcome to this week's Tuesday tip. I want to talk about how to worry less and accomplish more. The world right now has so much going on, and it's so easy to worry. But when we get stuck in worrying, we get paralyzed. We can't move forward. We can't accomplish what we want to do or need to do. So, I want to talk about a couple of tips for how you can stop worrying and start accomplishing. So, for me, yeah, it's worry is a part of life. Right now, we've got a thunderstorm that just cropped up, and I'm a little worried that I'm going to lose power or something's going to interfere with this live. But I can't do anything about that. I could wait longer, but I don't know how long the storm's going to last. I don't know what's going to go on. So instead, I'll just go ahead and get going. What's the worst that happens? It cuts me off. You know what? I can delete the video and then redo it if I need to. It's not the end of the world. And often when we start worrying, we're worrying because we're uncertain. We don't know what's next. We don't know what's out there. We we don't know what's happening. We don't have anything. And sometimes it can feel like if we worry, we'll be able to find a solution. But that's not really the case. When we start worrying, it becomes an emotional response and we start sitting and spinning our wheels. Or I heard an analogy years ago that worrying is like sitting in a rocking chair. You can sit there and rock back and forth, and you feel like you're doing something, but you're not making any progress. Yes, you're moving, but you're not going anywhere. And that's what worry can be like. We get in this cycle, it becomes emotional and it can paralyze us. I um Years ago, I was working at a company and we had a problem, and I was going into the meeting to figure out what was going to happen. And one of the other women, the only other woman in the room, was sitting there when I walked in, and she was wringing her hands and lamenting what all had happened. And oh, this is going to be so horrible. We can't fix it. And she did that for the whole meeting. She contributed nothing. She was the expert on one part of the solution, but she was so stuck in that she was going to get in trouble, that there were going to be all these big problems, that there was going to be this, that she could not get out of her own way and help contribute to the solution. So, yes, I was worried, and so was somebody else, but we put all that aside and said, okay, what can we do to fix this? And you know what? We fixed it. And there were no long term negative impacts on anything. Okay. So sitting there worrying, she sat there and did nothing to find a solution. And all it did was make her look bad. She didn't help contribute to the solution. So it didn't help her and it didn't help the problem. So why worry? And for me, the biggest thing that I found that helps is instead of getting stuck in that what if, or he's really great about giving us a whole bunch of, well, what if this happens, or what if that happens, or what if? Get out of the what ifs and start asking, what's next? What can I do next? So if you're starting to worry about something, it means there's something there that's raising a red flag in the back of your mind. And those are good. They're great. They help you avoid problems. They help you see risk that maybe you didn't see. So pay attention to those little nagging questions that starts worrying. Well, did I miss something? I know I've done this a lot when I'm getting ready to roll out a new project or do something. I start wondering, well, what if? Did I miss something? So when I start getting that sensation, I'll stop and I'll say, okay, let me back up and step back from it a little bit and look, did I miss anything? And there's been a couple of times when I realized, Hmm, I forgot to send out that email that has time sensitive information on it. I need to get that out. Or I thought I had gotten somebody looped in and I realized I hadn't. Or I realized, oh, wait a minute, there's a risk over here that I hadn't thought about. We need to address it. What can we do to minimize that risk? So ask yourself, what can I do now? What can I do next to help eliminate that worry? Because it puts that worry back in its place. And there's all kinds of neuroscience behind it. I'm not a neuroscientist. I have studied some of this, but what happens is worry becomes this emotional response. And so you're thinking with your emotions, fight or flight, or fight, flight, or freeze, right? And often I've seen worry make people freeze. And to get out of that mode, you need to get your thinking brain, your neocortex right up here, involved and engaged. So start asking questions. Asking, okay, what's next? Not what if. What if gets you narrowing your options. It closes the doors. It gets you emotional. What's next can help you find new solutions and new ideas and get you moving forward. So really, if you find yourself worrying and you want to worry less and accomplish more, focus on action. Focus on what's next. Don't avoid the worry because the worry is telling you something is important. Something needs to be paid attention to. So pay attention to it. Don't get sucked into that emotional game it will play with you. Let it identify the red flags and then act on those, identify them, and come up with a plan to address them. And you know what? Then your worry becomes manageable and you've put things in place to help you succeed. So, guess what? You're going to accomplish a lot more. If you spend a lot of time worrying, that's time you're not spending on getting work done. So, instead of focusing only on the what ifs and what's wrong and what could be, look at, okay, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do next? And you're going to get a lot more done if you start reining in your worry with looking at what's next, what's my next steps, what can I do? You're going to find yourself doing more, which means you're accomplishing more. And isn't that what we all want? I know for me, the biggest reason behind some of my success was I was seen as somebody who got things done. I couldn't let fear and worry paralyze me. Instead of letting that happen, I went into, okay, what can I do? What can we do? What do we need to look at? What do we do next? What do we do now? How do I get help? What could go wrong? And I start bringing other people in and you start finding new solutions. And next thing you know, you have more success. I'm going to be diving even deeper into why it's okay to worry some in this week's midweek madness break, career growth conversations with women in STEM. If you want to join me on that, you can go to www.midweekmadnessbreak.live and register. You'll get all the details and you can join me there. So I'd love to see you. And if you can't make it tomorrow at noon when I do that, you'll get the replay. So stop worrying, worry less so that you can accomplish more. And you'll find you're going to have a whole lot more success in your career. Thanks. It's Carol Doherty, career coach for women in STEM who helps women stop merely surviving, but start thriving in their careers. See you on YouTube and on Instagram. Bye now.